Welcome to One Day, one moment of one day in the life of members of our ALS Texas community.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, Texas. This is the second installment of our One Day series, the ALS Texas One Day series. I hope you all, if you celebrate Easter, had a wonderful weekend. And speaking of celebrating, that's what we're doing here today. That's what our One Day series does. We know that each day is made up of thousands of moments, right? Moments to celebrate. We want to celebrate with our community. We want to share those moments with our community. And today we are joined by Jothi Gupta. And Jothi, welcome. Tell us a little bit about your and your family's ALS journey.
Thank you for having me, Tanya. My family's ALS journey probably started about 3 or 4 years ago. I probably couldn't tell you the exact number of years, but it started when my dad was diagnosed with ALS. And since then, just like any other family going through this, we've just met our share of hurdles and uncertainties through it all. But at this point, my dad's pretty stable, and we're just kind of in that progression state. But it's been a couple of years since it all happened.
Yeah, I am thankful to hear that right now he's doing well and kind of a level state. ALS can be up and down and new normal, so that makes us happy to hear, and that's worth celebrating, right?
Definitely.
Again, we have to find those moments to celebrate. And Jothi, I know just from talking to you in the past, you are an active young woman. You're a leader. Where are you joining us from today? Where are you at right now?
Well, I'm at my school right now. I just had track practice in school, and so I was just trying to find a good place to meet for this meeting. But right now, I'm at school.
And I know you're involved in a lot of things. What are some things that you're involved in, that you're passionate about, and your dreams?
Well, like anyone, I like to keep myself busy, maybe a little bit too busy, but I'm involved in my student council. I'm involved in my school paper. I run track and cross country. And I really just love being involved in the community and in my school. I just try to do what I'm passionate about. Sometimes that leads me to doing probably too many things, but at least I never have a dull moment. So I just try to stay active in my school and in my community.
I love that. And I know that we have some photos that we'll be sharing today, and I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about these as they come up. There's some trophies. There's some rings I know that are in here. So kind of take us to what's happening in these pictures where we're celebrating.
Well, these pictures, these two are from cross country. I don't quite remember where the first one is, but the second one is after we won our SBC competition and we all got our rings. And that was definitely a really exciting moment because it's been a while since we won SBC. I remember when we did win and they unveiled our year on the banner, and so that was definitely exciting. So, I love to run. I run cross country. I just had track practice. And so that's where those pictures are from.
Where's your ring at?
Oh, I actually didn't get one. So I used my friends for the picture.
Oh, okay. Well, in addition to all of that you do, you are also, and we've got comments coming in here too, Jothi. So proud of you, Jothi. We are proud of her too. We were able to really connect. We've been connected with Jothi and her family, as she said, when their ALS journey began or shortly thereafter. By connecting with ALS Texas, families are able to get encouragement, hope, and support throughout every phase of the disease. And I personally connected with Jothi, about a year ago. She didn't mention she does podcasts as well. I know that she has a lot of things going on, but her family is amazing. And Jothi is part of our youth leadership team that we have at ALS Texas. Some amazing young leaders that are passionate about finding a cure for ALS, about advocacy, about standing up, taking action, and fighting the fight. So Jothi, tell us a little bit about why you became involved in the youth leadership team and what your passion is in that.
Well, I mean, I'm just not someone who can sit around and do nothing. If I see something that needs to change, I'll try to do something. And so that's basically why I tried to become involved with this youth leadership group and just advocacy for ALS and fundraisers and things like that. I mean, I became involved because I think there's not enough awareness about the disease and not enough, widespread awareness about it. And so it's definitely an issue that I want to spread awareness of, spread the need to fundraise, the need for research and things like that. And the second portion of it is just the need for youth to get involved, because I think in things like this, there's maybe people don't think about the people who are kind of tangentially related, but like still affected by it. And I think that's also a really important element, because after getting involved in this, meeting other kids as well, it's really nice for me to meet other people who are my age going through this. But then also I think it's really nice for just us to connect in general and to see how people are affected from every walks of life, whether it's your dad or your mom or your child or anything like that. You can be affected in any way. So I definitely want to get involved in that, just because the need for involvement and the need for youth to get involved specifically.
Absolutely. And in Texas, we have more than 2,500 young caregivers involved in the ALS journey. And it's so, so important. You touched on many reasons. Our peer support group meets monthly. What would be your message to other young caregivers in the state about the peer support group? It's new. It can be kind of scary for people, but y'all don't just talk about ALS, do you?
Not really. I mean, I'll be the first to say I've never really been to a support group before this peer support group. And I was honestly a little scared to go to, because I think there's kind of a connotation about support groups and kind of a misconception about them. But I mean, quite honestly, support groups, specifically this one, are just getting a lot of people who experience very similar things to just talk about it. And wow, it's windy. And to connect with each other. And so I think that, I mean, I am really happy that I was able to connect with people in the support group, because before I did, I knew very, very few people who are my age going through this. And so just hearing other people's experiences makes it a lot easier, because you feel like you're not alone in it. And I think the second part is, I just think people don't talk about the emotional experience of ALS enough. I think people talk about what happens and what physically happens and what happens to that individual, but there's such a large emotional component that's really difficult to talk about. So a lot of times we don't. And so I am really glad that I was able to connect with the support group, because it helps you talk about those things that are really scary to talk about and really difficult to just kind of bring up by themselves, an opportunity to kind of force those conversations.
Yes, it can be challenging, but the group is so supportive. I know you all have shared, again, like you said, I didn't know there were others like me. And so there are, unfortunately, but you're not alone. And if you all will look on your screen, we've got information on the next peer support group. It's for young adults, and that's under 30-ish. There's not a hard and fast rule. So if you're under 30 in college, high school, connect with a group of like-minded age group-ish individuals that understand the journey. So it's April 15th at 7:00 p.m. It's Zoom, it's virtual, so you can join anywhere in the state. And I know that Jothi would love to see you and meet you on there. ALS Texas would love to see and meet you on there. And Jothi, is there anything else that you want to share before we wrap up?
I mean, the only thing I would say is just that ALS can and definitely will seem to take over your life, but I think the most important thing is just not let it. And that sounds very, bad to say, just don't do it. But I've learned that if I wait to have the time to do something, I'll never do it, because you just never really have the time. So I think you just have to make it if it's a priority. So especially with things like this, you just have to make time for the things you need to do outside of ALS. Otherwise, it'll take over your life, and then you won't be able to do those things. So that's just definitely important to kind of force those things in, because it'll never just come to you where you just have the time to do it.
I love that, Jothi. Thank you for sharing that. That's what one day is about. Not waiting for the right moment to do the things you love, not saying maybe one day I'll do it, but making today that one day. If you have a one day story, we want to hear it. What are you doing outside of ALS, you and your family, for everybody watching? We want to celebrate the good stuff that's happening. So if you've got a one day story, send it to us. We've got information that'll come up on your screen on how you can get that to us. We would love to share your story. And until we see you again on our next one day series, everyone enjoy this day and make it count.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jothi.
A lot can happen in one day, and one day we will create a world without ALS. Learn more at alstexas.org.